What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Blab. I appreciate you stopping by. Without further ado, let's blab. Before we hop into it, get on the ground floor of Blab. Hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 300 subscribers. I appreciate you all. So, today we're talking a little bit about Surging Sparks. We're going to talk about the sealed. We're going to talk about the cards because I do think that this is a great buying opportunity, at least for myself. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I am investing in this product. I have some already. I'm looking to acquire more. And that is for a couple of reasons. One is once we jump over the cards, it is a fantastic set. Yes, I don't really like the Pikachu, but the Latias and the Milotic are two of the best cards in the entire Scarlet and Violet era. We got gray borders. They look fantastic. Great SIR cards, but we'll get into that in a moment. First, I'd like to talk about, and I've harped on it before, everybody says they're sitting on the sidelines for MSRP, right? They're not willing to pay for an item unless it goes to MSRP. Once something goes to MSRP, we're going to deploy all of our capital that, all of the gains we've made, yada, 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 right? Except for the fact that when Surging Sparks, Twilight Masquerade has a huge chase Greninja card. Doesn't do it for me, but I'll acknowledge it's definitely a high value chase card. When Surging Sparks and Twilight Masquerade are at MSRP, nobody wants them, right? Nobody wants them. And I'll acknowledge $76 is not MSRP, but it's going up and down around, $70 to $76. If you go out into the wild, out into the universe, you can find this one in big box stores for $50 to $65, depending on the retailer. Or if you go to an LGS store or a card show, you can easily find this product for $60. Even if a vendor has it priced at $70, you say, hey, can I get 3 or 4 of those for $60? And they say, no, I'll do $65. And you say, I'm buying 4 for $60. And they either say yes or no. And guess what? If they say no, you go to the next table and the next table because everyone has this product. It's very plentiful right now. There was Costco restocks. There was Walmart restocks. There was Pokemon Center restock. I mean, this got restocked. And to be honest, it could continue to get restocked. That is definitely a possibility. However, I think seeing right here, obviously, we love this. This is fantastic, right? Down 30 to 40%. That is what we call a crash. That is what we want to buy into. Now, can this fall even further? It's possible that it falls further. There were ETBs not too long ago, maybe 2 years ago or so. Black Friday sales for $19.99, $29.99, $39.99. Most of these deals that people saying, oh, they're getting ETBs for $17 2 years ago is kind of BS. The most plentiful deal was $39.99 plus tax. So you're looking at like $40, and that's a couple years ago. We have to adjust for inflation, yada, yada, yada. I'd say the nut low on this product is maybe $50. I think that the downside, if you buy this product for $60 in the wild, either at MSRP, big box store, LGS, whatever, what have you, if you buy this for $60, the downside, in my opinion, is $45 to $50 for the product in its entire lifespan, right? But what is the upside? Well, we've already seen that this product can get up to $113, right? I believe that is the all-time high, around $110, $115, right? Shipping, maybe we call it $120, right? So you're getting this product at $60, which is half the price of its all-time high. Why is this a good idea? Well, the downside is limited. The upside is, I think the upside drastically outweighs the downside. It's that simple. Next, when we hop into the cards themselves, like I said, I don't love the Pikachu, but it is a Pikachu chase card, $350. It's a solid chase for the set. Now, we also have multiple other cards that are great in my opinion, and also in other people's opinion. The Latias and the Milotic. We got a $100 card, we got a $200 card. These are great chase cards. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually the Latias takes over the Pikachu. This is an absolutely fantastic card. It correlates with the Latios. This card was $15 to $20 for a very, very, very long time. I'm actually just realizing it now that it's $33 market price. That is also a good sign. For me personally, I'm not a Hydreigon kind of guy. I know a lot of people like Hydreigon, and they also love this card. Even the trainers, Alicia's Appeal, this is a good trainer card. I know some trainer cards, especially in the booms, go for 100, 200, 500, whatever. Lisia's Appeal at 35 bucks. I think this released at like 100 or $200, something crazy like that. And then, the Durant card, I always find this funny because I believe Kevin Durant did sign one of these cards, which I just find hilarious. Other than that, it's an okay card. And then, you got some other illustration rares that are pretty good, whatever. I like the set. I think a lot of people like the set. I think a lot of people got into Pokemon around when this set came out. And then the people that got into Pokemon during the Surging Sparks boom were here then for the Prismatic Evolutions boom, which, just blew the roof off everything, right? It was all the people that had the hype from Surging Sparks and moved into Prismatic. Now, all of that hype for Surging Sparks is absolutely gone. Lack of hype and reprints. It's driving this price down, right? This is what we want to buy into, though, right? Right? We can say on the year chart, $45 on the low. What did I say? $45 to $50 on the low end, $115 on the high end, and right now we're at a 30 to 40% downturn over the last couple of months. So I think they could continue to print this item, and like I said, I think the downside is $45, $50, and I think the upside is sort of unlimited. Where do I see this going in the future? I think that it's hard to say. I do think that we're in sort of this sideways trading, slightly bearish undertones in the market right now. So maybe it doesn't move much for a long time. I do think that this eventually is, again, $100 ETB, $120 ETB, and then 150, 200. Like, I think it has that upside that of continuous growth over time with very limited downside. That's why I like this item. I actually have moved away from some of the Twilight Masquerade and simply converting it directly into this. There was an LGS store that had Twilight Masquerade for $89.99. That is way more than I would pay for it. But on their shelves for $89.99, and they had Surging Sparks for $79.99. So essentially, I just said, hey, can I trade these in directly? It looks like you have, this delta between these prices, and it just made sense. So, all that being said, this is a giant Poke Blab. You know who you're watching. I think that the ETB, the look of the ETB is also pretty good. While I don't love Terra Crowns and Pikachu is really not my favorite, like, box art Pokemon, my favorite color is purple. Just putting it out there. My favorite color is purple. This is a pretty sweet looking purple ETB. Anything with purple, blue, like dark blue, stuff like that. I like cards with lightning that have, like a blue, purple, sky, thunder, that kind of vibe. So I don't know. It does it for me. These are boxes that I'm buying. Or this is a box I'm buying at $60. Yes, you can get it for $60 to $65. Go ahead and pick some up if you think that it's also a good play. Could these crash to under MSRP? Anything's possible. Like I said, I personally think the downside is in that $40 to $50 range, which would again be another 50% crash from where we're at right now. I think that is the downside with a $150 to $200 ETB upside in the medium term. Anyway, that's enough talking your ear off on Surging Sparks individually, both the cards and the ETB itself. I'm not looking at the booster box right now. I actually think booster boxes are overrated. Yes, I'm the only person on YouTube that is not FOMOing into booster boxes, that is not selling all of my product to move it into booster boxes and booster box cases. I think that booster boxes in general are actually a flimsily made product. That's a whole nother video. And I also think the delta between a case fresh, perfectly shrink wrapped, sealed cellophane booster box and a Granny's stretch mark, Pokeballs all ripped up, looking terrible booster box is a huge difference that you don't really see in ETBs, right? Like the seal is the seal. A rip is a rip, but all of the sealed products in good condition look approximately the same. If you're getting a mint booster box shipped from TCG Player with no pictures, that's kind of risky, crazy work to me. I would have to buy it in person and get a good look at the product itself and how it has been stored over time. Anyway, that's a quick blab. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Hit that subscribe button. Get me up to that 300 subscribers. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.